Hello, everyone. My name is Nicole Pringle, and I'm the president of Gullah Business of Charleston. And I have the vice president here, Tiffany Savage.
Hello.
And we have another wonderful feature. Now, this person here, he's an actor. He's been on the Watsons Go to Birmingham, The Inspectors, the Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, The Sweet Life of Zach and Cody, House Party, and many more. We have Harrison Knight. Thank you for coming on.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
So, you're from the Low Country. We have somebody from the Low Country. I know everybody's going to be happy about that. But how did you get started into acting?
Well, it started very young for me. Well, first I just loved watching movies and television shows. Like I would be glued in front of the TV and just I would like for The Lion King, for instance, was one of my favorite movies growing up. So my family would get little figurines and toys from the movie, and I would just act out each scene, scene by scene. I knew the whole thing word for word. So that's kind of how it started. And then in church, in school, I would always be doing the plays and musicals. So that's when I caught the bug.
So when you prepare for a new role, well, first off, let me back up.
Hmm.
What was your very first role and how were you able to walk into that part?
Well, my very first role was in a small industrial film. I think it was about like substance abuse. And I had to play this kid who was just started wilding out because he was on something, some substance. And so I don't even remember what the name of the role was, but it was very small and it was like a 5 minute shoot for me. But it was I didn't really have to do too much. Just they told me to act crazy and I started banging my hands on like the table. It was like it was a funny little scene to shoot, but yeah.
Okay. So how do you prepare for roles when they present themselves? Because just like Nicole listed some of like the films that you've already participated in, how do you prepare for the characters? What's your process?
So it depends on the character. Um, if there's source material, like if there's a book, like or a novel I can read, I'll read that just to so that'll inform me more about the character that I'm about to portray. Or some things I'll do is I'll journal. I'll journal as the character. Writing just lets everything kind of flow out naturally, and also I'll go out and to go to the grocery store or go get gas and as the character. So I'll just try to imagine what my character would be doing in everyday life and just go out as that person.
Did you
Wow.
take any acting classes?
Yes, lots of
Wow.
classes.
Wow. Because I would imagine that. Because I know I definitely want to talk about the Watsons going to Birmingham because had to watch it again the other night. And then I was like, he's acting up. I was like, your character was acting up. I'm like, well, he just stopped. I was like, I got to calm down. I'm yelling at the TV. I mean, you're acting. You really embodied that character. Like,
Thank
so
you.
you took acting classes. Do you always keep that up to like perfect your craft, or is that something you do from here and there? Like, how does that work?
Oh yeah, you have to take classes as consistently as possible just to keep your tools sharp and yeah, just to keep your skills on point.
I would out, I have to ask this question. What has been the most challenging role that you've had to play so far?
So far, it's probably a tie between the Watsons and the inspectors. The Watsons because of the material, because of the time the story took place in. It's a very deep subject to take on, and you want to do it justice. So you don't want to you don't want to play around with that. And the inspectors because I did it for such a long period of time. I did that role for 3 years, 4 seasons, yeah, 4 seasons, over 100 episodes. So just to be able to kind of keep that character, that energy up. And he was also like the comic relief of the show. So you
Mm.
kind of want to keep like a jovial, like happy mood on set because if someone's having a bad day on set, they're looking at you to kind of keep the energy up. And that's kind of taxing on you when you may
Yeah.
not be having the best day. So it's
Mhm.
like, yeah.
So we've had some other actors that have come on with us, and we've been blessed to have him on. And I remember one person in particular, it was Griffith. He said to us that the most challenging role sometimes is like comedy, believe it or not, because you have to find a way. It's like most people think comedy, oh, you're making people laugh, but just like you said, you have to be that jovial spirit no matter what's going on. Um, and just that. So I commend you for that. But also too, how do you keep a balance between your personal life and your acting career? Because just like you said, you invest all your energy to making sure you develop this character in a respectful way that honors that person. If it's based on, if it's based on a person's life or experience, you want to make sure that you respect that. But how do you keep a balance or a boundary between your personal life and that character?
Well, I'll tell you this. When I was filming The Inspectors, an actress I worked with, Dale, she's an older woman, and she told me this. She said, "You need to not focus everything on your career," because she's seen so many actors who do that and they lose it, because you invest so much into playing other people, you kind of forget who you are. So you have to have a life outside of that. Luckily, I have good friends to hang out with. I have hobbies outside of acting. I play soccer. I like video games. I just do other things than just focus all on acting. Because if I did that, like I said, who knows where I'd be or or who I want to be right now. So I'm just happy.
And I have a question. What has been your favorite character that you've played so far?
My favorite? That's tough. I would probably say Noah from The Inspectors, simply because he's just an affable person. He's a lot of fun to be around. And yeah, I didn't really get a lot of roles to just make people laugh. I'm always playing like the serious guy. I tend to stick to a lot of dramatic roles. So that role was a little different for me from what I'm normally used to.
So that goes right into the next question. What role would you want to play that you haven't had a chance to play yet?
Mm.
So many. Um, hmm. I love sci-fi. I love fantasy. So maybe something, yeah, like a blend of those two genres. Maybe,
Mm.
I don't know, like an astronaut who goes off into, I don't know, some distant galaxy or something like that. I don't know. Star Wars,
Oh, I
maybe.
can see
Okay.
that.
I don't know. I'll put it out there.
Yeah, I can see
Hey,
it.
I'll
I
hold a
see that.
lightsaber. I'm down.
So, so that goes into and I got another question, kind of goes all together. Give me three of your favorite movies.
That's really tough. Because it changes. It depends on the day, depends on my mood. Um, one that's kind of been a staple is 12 Angry Men. So
Mm.
that's a really good drama. I love that. And it's very minimal in terms of like the set and setting. It mostly takes place in one room. So it's so captivating. Like it's hard to take your eyes off of. So yeah, that's one. Let's see, number two, I would say, well, since I said sci-fi and fantasy, I'll say Interstellar, because I love Christopher Nolan. His work is incredible. He's one of my favorite directors of all time. And that movie it's incredible. Like even from the trailers to the end of the film, I was like, I love this film. Um, number three,
Yep. People always get stuck with that third one.
No, because
uh,
you put them on the spot.
yeah,
I,
that
I ask
last
everybody
one.
I meet because that tells me a lot about you. So I'm like, let me see what you like.
Right, right. That third spot, that last spot is always a tough one. Hmm. I'm gonna say, oh, The Little Giants.
Oh wow.
Wow,
Yeah.
you
That one
went
totally left.
Yeah, I went nostalgic. That movie brought me so much joy as a kid. And
hmm
I just it just whenever I'm feeling bad, I can watch that movie and just be put into a great mood. Um, it's crazy how many connections I actually have with that film, but I won't go into all of those details. But it's yeah, Little Giants.
I think that's awesome. That's awesome. Mine would be The Sandlot. I remember that
Yeah,
movie.
Oh
That
yeah.
was the movie.
that's a classic.
Like I could watch that and just be like, okay.
So many quotables from that movie.
So I want to say, I want to ask you this question. What's one memory since you've been acting that you could say for sure that you're going to take that to the bank? You always remember it, always reminisce on it. What's one great memory that you've had stepping to the acting profession?
Ooh, one great memory. Um, well, the first one that comes to mind is when I was filming this show called Detroit 187. I was working with the late Michael Kenneth Williams. He played my dad in the show, and he told me I did. Well, I won't spoil it, but he comes to visit me, and he sees me, and as soon as he sees me, we embrace, and tears start falling. You know, it just came natural, like it wasn't in the script. They just happened. And he looks at me like after the scene is over. He lets go of me. He looks at me. He's like, "Yo, man, if you keep that up, you gonna end up at the podium one day." And I was like, "Whoa!" Like that just took me back because someone who I'd watched my whole life just told me that was dope, and so that just really meant a lot to me, especially now that he's no longer here. So yeah, that was a big one.
I want to talk about the movie again because I keep talking about the Watsons Go to Birmingham.
Sure, let's talk about it.
Because you had a star-studded cast here. You got Sky Jackson, Wood Harris. You had David Allen Greer, Aniki Nani Rose. I mean, how was it working with them?
Man, it was a dream. Cause like similar situation, you know, I'd grown up watching most of them, so to be working with them on set was kind of it was surreal. It was I was taken aback by it, but they're so cool. You know, they're all so dope and unique, and they're just I soaked up as much as I could from them.
Mm.
They were just imparting wisdom, gems like left and right. So it was a dope experience.
Where did they shoot that movie?
In Atlanta, well, like rural Georgia.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Okay.
I was wondering.
So you talked about that you were in Spider-Man into the Spider-Verse and
Mhm.
stuff like that. How was that experience to work with animation and doing a different, a different form of acting? Because I
Yeah,
imagine that's kind of a little bit challenging.
yeah. Hey, it is. And before I get into that, I'll start off by saying that I think voice actors are some of the most talented actors in the business because you can't rely on your body, you can't rely on your eyes. It's only your voice. You know, that's all you have to portray the character. So that's and a lot of actors they can't even change the voices. But I won't get into that. That's a that's a whole different story. But for Into the Spider-Verse, Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, it was first of all, they didn't even tell us what we were working on when I was told about the project. They called it, I forgot what they called it. They labeled it something else. And so I'm all right. It's another day at work. I look on the screen and I see this dude, this black kid with an afro. I was like, oh, okay. Got a black guy. All right, animated film. I like this. And I see him get into the suit. He says, my name is Miles. I'm like, wait a minute. It's a Spider-Man. Like, okay. So it was just, yeah, it was just a lot of fun. A lot of fun working with everyone. And that's one of the biggest projects I worked on to date in animation. So that gave me like a lot of insight into the VO world and animation world.
And
Mm.
so for our followers that are going to be watching this now or later on, can you tell them which character you played in Spider-Man, Welcome to the Spider-Verse or Into the Spider-Verse?
Yeah, so I'll break it down. So basically, what I did in the film is called ADR. It's automated dialogue replacement. So of course, you have like, you know, the main characters in the film, they're voiced by certain celebrities. We do ADR, we do all the background characters. So like anyone in like a crowd or like maybe a random person will walk up and say something to one of the main characters. That's what I would do or we would do in the group. So one of the characters I did, there was this kid who walks up to Miles as he's like either going to or leaving school. He's walking like by the park, and he comes up. He goes, "Hey, yo, Miles, you feel that earthquake last night?" And that was one of the characters that I did. Um, yeah. So yeah, that was one of the noticeable characters that I did.
You know what I was thinking about that? I was thinking about me trying to do that because I'm like, I would be tripping over my words, stuttering. I'm like, no, take it, do it again, do it again.
I would
They'd be like,
have to.
yeah, they'd be like, get her out of here. Like, that's a skill because I'll be there all day.
When you see, like, you know how they have behind the scenes and you see anything like that, that's challenging.
Hmm.
And it's challenging too. Okay, like the voice actors, we've always seen them, especially Disney does a good job behind the scenes where they're in front of the screen, they're in the studio. But how about the ones that have to go in front of the green screen and
Oh
just,
yeah.
what I'm saying? I'm like, that is challenging. Pretend somebody's there and just flip out, you got all this equipment out. I was just like, that's a different level. That's a
It
different
is.
level.
Yeah,
But
your imagination has to be on 10 for sure.
yeah. So I don't know if you skip like by the end of it. I'm thinking you're gonna be thinking you're going crazy after a while because you
Hey, I've heard stories.
like fighting people. You remember Boys in the Hood when Cuba came in? He was like, this is gonna fight. It's just
Classic.
like it keeps going.
Right.
So the next question is, what advice would you give to an aspiring actor?
Um, well, I would say first I gotta give you like cliche advice. Just keep going. You have to keep going. It's because it's gonna get tough. I don't care what anybody tells you. If they tell you it's gonna be easy, they lying. You're gonna have ups and downs. It's gonna be a roller coaster. But you just have to keep pushing through no matter what. So besides that, I would say know your strengths and your weaknesses. Know what you can bring to a project. Know where you can fit in. Because if you go in saying that, oh well, I can play everything, it's like, okay, great. Everybody can play everything, or so they can say it. So they'll say it. So you have to know where you can get in. Also, if you can, if possible, try to get to a place that's conducive to project TV and film projects in the area. Atlanta, that's where I started off after moving from South Carolina. Um, Atlanta's like the Mecca right now, and like the South for like Black Hollywood is there. Tyler Perry has his studios there, so he's got a lot going on there. And yeah, also last thing maybe, yeah, just be professional. Show up on time, know your lines, and just be easy to work with. Because no one wants to work with people who are a nuisance, causing trouble on set all day. It's not worth it. So yeah, just treat people with respect.
I was about to say, what's some projects that you're working on right now that you feel comfortable sharing?
Oh yeah. So right, the last thing I did was an animated short film called Iffy. It's on like the festival circuit right now. So it's making its little rounds. It just went to where was it? It was just in Detroit, I think, and went to Ghana. It's going to Cannes. It's going around. So you can look out for that hopefully later this year. I play a character named Needs in the film. He's very he's very unique. He's very he's affable. Oh, Siri. Um, yeah, he's a unique guy. He's very uninhibited. So that was a fun character to play.
Elevator pitch question.
Mhm.
What 3 words would you use to describe you as an actor and why?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'd say dynamic because I like to make like bold choices in my work. I'm never going to give you a boring performance because who wants to watch a boring actor? Um, ambitious, ambitious because I'm always trying to top what I see, not only what I've done, but what other actors before me and actresses have done. So I'm a student of the game, so I'm studying and trying to see, okay, But what if they did this? Or what if I did that? You know? So yeah. And consistent. I'm gonna consistently give you a good performance every time. And I'm gonna put my all into it. So yeah.
And so, if anybody that's watching this, if they want to get in contact with you or follow any of the great projects that you're doing, how can they contact you?
Well, my handle on Instagram, Twitter, or X now. Facebook is Harrison X Knight. TikTok as well. And you can also find my YouTube channel, Harrison Knight. So yeah, but Harrison X Knight is my handle for everything.
That's
I have a
awesome.
question. Wait, I have a question that's not, well, what are your hobbies? I'm just curious to know.
Yeah, so soccer, I play that like at least once to twice a week.
Wow.
I love video games. I'm playing those a lot to like decompress. That helps me a lot. Of course, I like seeing movies. You know, the obvious binge watching TV shows. Yeah, those are some of them.
Oh, yeah, that's a random one. I was like, I wonder.
And I see you're good with the comedic relief. I watched one of the videos, like one of the reels you posted on Instagram with the Scooby Doo video, and that was funny as all get up. I was like,
Thank you.
yeah,
I like that sometimes.
Yeah. So you must be awesome with soccer because them feet were going. I was like, I wasn't ready for that. I was not ready.
And I almost forgot. I also like to make music as well.
Oh, really?
I'll be dropping an EP later this year. So look out.
You were gonna pull that back.
That's why I ask random questions. I always like to ask like the movie thing and then like, just hobbies, little things to get to know somebody. I'm glad you said that.
Oh yeah, I had to throw that out.
What kind of music?
R&B and rap.
Oh, really?
Mhm.
Okay.
Wow.
Okay, you got to come back on so we can hear some stuff.
Okay. Yeah, I would love to.
Yeah.
It's just like when we had Mr. Ron up here. It was like he didn't know we knew anything about him baking cakes.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Come up here, talk about Gullah Island and all this other stuff.
Yeah, we was talking about. What'd you say, Tim?
Oh,
I was just saying about his cakes. He didn't know that we knew anything about it, and next thing you know, he whipped out that prayer, that blessing. Like
he's active from Gullah Island.
Yeah, Ron Days.
That's awesome.
Yeah, he came on. I was like, this is a dream, like my childhood. Like,
yeah.
He was talking and then he read some parts of his book and we were just sitting there just like
it's funny. I catch myself humming that song like randomly. Gullah Island. It was such a hitter. It was a slap.
It was. They're approaching 30 years this month.
Woo.
Wow. Yeah.
That was so deep. People actually thought there was a Gullah Island. People like, where's Gullah Island? Okay.
Once you get everything done with your EP, like you can come back on. We would love to hear it.
Okay. Yeah.
Thank you again for joining us for another feature here at Gullah Business of Charleston with me, Tiffany Savage, Vice President of Gullah Business of Charleston, and Nicole Pringle, the President of Gullah Business of Charleston. We have enjoyed our time with Harrison Knight, and we wish you all the best in all your endeavors. And hopefully, we'll have you back on soon to talk about other future projects that you're doing.
Thank you.
If you want to contact him, please make sure to contact him. Reach out to him and follow him on Instagram, his YouTube page, and X, formerly known as Twitter. Am I forgetting any other social media platforms you on?
That's TikTok, Facebook, that's it.
And TikTok too, and Facebook. You can find him there. So we'll also have his tags and everything, all his information below in the comment section once we go ahead and post this on our YouTube channel and on our social media platforms. So thank you again, Harrison, for coming on with us. We appreciate it.
Thank y'all for having me.
Oh, and make sure you like, share, and subscribe to this video. Thank you.